Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of basic blues rhythm progressions here. This is just going to be basic 12-bar blues. Um, if you look at the PDF download that you can get from the site, at the main site at guitarlessons365.com, you'll have the music for both of these rhythm examples. And you'll see that every example is 12 measures, or 12 bars, and that's what the basic blues progression is done. And you have basically three chords that you're using when you're doing a blues progression. It's the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. Now what that means is in every key in music there are 7, if you look at the scale for that key, say if it's in A, well, you have 1 chord built off of every tone in the scale. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are 7 notes, so we're going to have a chord built off of every one of those notes. Well, A is the first note in the scale, so the chord that we build off that note is called the 1 chord. And if you go A, B, C, D, D is the 4th note in that key, or on that scale, same thing, and so that is the 4 chord. The chord that is built off of that note. And then the next one in line is E, coming after D, and the 5 chord will be built off that. So for this progression, we're going to have dominant chords. Now, if you look at your open position dominant chord sheet that we also have available at the site, if you don't have it, just look up dominant chords on the site, and you'll see open position. All 3 of these chord types are here. Just get them in your hands. A lot of basic blues, or any blues, they use dominant sounds on basically every chord shape, just about. So what we're going to do is an A dominant 7 chord is our 1 chord. That's built off the first tone in A major, followed by a D7, which is the 4 chord, followed by an E7. So if you want a little help with those chords, it's very easy. The first string's open for this A7. Third finger's at the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. The 3rd string will be open. The 4th string will be, you put your 2nd finger at the 2nd fret, and then you hit the 5th string open, the A. So it's just a 5-string chord. Then we move over to the D7, a little bit smaller chord shape. Your 3rd finger at the 2nd fret on the 1st string, your 1st finger at the 1st fret on the 2nd string, your 2nd finger at the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and then the D string, which is the 4th string, is open. So that's just a 4-string chord. And then we move over to the E7, and the 1st string is open. The 2nd string has your pinky at the 3rd fret. Then we're going to have on the 3rd string your 1st finger at the 1st fret. Then the 4th string, you're going to let it ring open, no fingers on it. Your 2nd finger is going to be on the 2nd fret on the 5th string, and then you get to hit this low E. So that's a full 6-string chord. That's an E7. So we have an A7, a D7, and an E7. The order we use these, you'll probably recognize the sound of this. But it's just kind of like, so if we strum it very basically like 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was 1 measure of A7, 4 beats. And I just strummed each one, 3, 4, then the D7, 1 for 1 measure. And then back to A7 for 2 measures, or 2 bars, whatever you call it. So now we've done 4 full bars, back to D7 for 2 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, then back to A7 for 2 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've done 8 bars now. Now we're going to come down to the E7 for 1 bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the D7 for 1 bar, 2, 3, 4, then the A7 for 1 bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to turn around back to the beginning of the piece by doing the 12th bar, back to E7, 3, 4. Then we just start over. You'll see those little symbols with the little 2 dots and the thick bar lines. That means repeat anything in between those. And then after that, there's just a little A that whenever you're done repeating that 12-bar blues, you know, a million times, it doesn't matter how many times you do it, then you just end it with that A. All right? Now I have a different strumming pattern that I want you to do that's more of a blues, like kind of a swing eighth feel to it. And we're going to start with the A7, and we're going to do everything in the same order we just did, but now instead of down, 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 we're going to do this eighth note feel. Now, here's what it's going to be. Got a lot more of a bluesy sound to it. So what am I doing there? Well, I've turned now, instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so those are eighth notes. Now I have 2 notes per beat because I'm throwing an upstroke in between those downstrokes. And all I'm doing is I'm leaving out the downstroke that I do. I still do it in the right hand, but I don't hit the strings on the third beat. Just the downstroke on the third beat. So it goes 1 and 2 and miss and 4. So just practice that. Now it's written as a rest in the music, but that's not really what's happening. I just wrote that rest there so you can see it as don't hit anything. But it's you do let the strings ring over that rest. So see how on that last I let the strings ring. So I'm going to do this progression, same progression we did before, but with that new rhythm pattern, which I want you to be able to play along with. But if you're following along in the PDF download, you should have kind of no trouble figuring it out. This is going to be the same strumming pattern on every chord. Here we go. And. So you just start over. That last measure, I did a different strumming pattern to lead us back to the beginning again, or to that last ending, whatever you want to do. And it's just miss the first downstroke on the first beat. So it goes 1, I miss that 1, and then everything and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Just propels us back to the beginning. All right, one quick little thing. We can do like kind of like a rock, kind of bluesy Chuck Berry feel to that. Taking the same chords, instead of just an A power chord and a D power chord and an E power chord. If you know what power chords are, check them out on the site. And we just hit that 0, 2 open twice, and then add the 6th above it, so it becomes a kind of a root 6 shape. And then we do it over on the D strings for the D chord, over the 4 chord. So it's the same chord progression, just using these tiny little dyad shapes. See, I kind of like to do that big chord ending to take us back to the beginning and do it all over again. A little variation you can do on that is like this. So it's just like hit the 0, 2 twice, 0, 4 twice, then reach a pinky up, 0, 5 twice, back to 0, 4 twice. This is something you could do every... Just something that you can play around with. And that's kind of a basic rock blues style. All right, so stick with these things, and please go to guitarlessons365.com and support the site, and comment and subscribe and do whatever you can to help out. I appreciate it. Thanks. Bye-bye.